So I'm going to work on Castor's hind legs, and I've moved the arena so I have more space for my arms, not for him necessarily, but just different fence, because I didn't want to be putting my arm through each rail of like the panels, so I can kind of move out a little bit faster if I need to. So I'm just doing a little review, going ahead and making sure he's okay with me touching down his back legs. So I start on this side. That looked pretty good. I kind of start at the top, work my way down, and now I'm asking him for just a little bit of a lift, and that looked really nice. So I did my review there, made sure he was cool with that, because you've seen a lot of videos of me touching his legs, and then my cue is going to be right above his hock. Perfect. And I just want that little like weight off and kind of like rest on his toe even, because I don't want this big movement to where he picks up his foot like super dramatically. Just want just a little bit. So even less than that. Like ideally it doesn't even leave the ground in the beginning, because I want that relaxation built in from the beginning and not this big movement, because even if they're really picking up and they think that's what you want, like it can just could be kind of dangerous. So just something to think about. And then I'll go ahead and do some desensitizing, take a little break, I'll work on the padding, work on moving his tail around, and kind of just touching kind of on his hindquarters there, moving the fence a little bit. It's not as steady as my other fence. And just kind of taking a little break, doing some desensitizing, and then just like patting on his hindquarters, moving his tail and stuff is also some of that prep work for walking behind him, so like during grooming or tacking or something. And then I can stand up on him here and just pet on him, and kind of get some hair off, and just in a new, not necessarily new, but a different environment, so that like same rules apply, even though we're not in the round pen, we're over here, and he was really good with that. So I like where his head's at, I like how relaxed he is. That's looking much better. So it rained and I had to come back and try again afterward. But I'm just doing the other side here, working on some padding. He looks great. I like how he's just chewing, he's blinking, he's nice and relaxed. Let's see if he can just kind of take the weight off. He just kind of leaned forward a little bit. Like you can see after I walked away, kind of that hip comes back, like he puts weight back on it. It's very subtle, but he did move a little bit, and I'm going to take that in the beginning. So he's kind of, see how he's shifting that weight away from me and kind of toward that other leg. That's what I'm looking for right there. There. So really I probably should have clicked before I ever come off the ground, because I want that little tiny shift of weight first. So it's kind of hard to see, especially when it's a little far away and you're not there doing it, so it's a little bit harder, but that is what I'm looking for. And he's kind of got the wrong foot, but that's okay. There, yep. So I should click before it comes off the ground. So at this point, it's a little bit much off the ground, more than I'd like. So it's just something to think about. He's got the wrong foot, that's alright. He was really stuck on his front feet, because I'd done those, that was really nice. He was really stuck on those front feet, because I had done those first. So he's like, front foot, and that was a really nice one, but that's not exactly what I want. I'm just going to keep asking. So I really like that. Again, do some desensitizing here. I probably had a little bit of a head lift there. He's maybe a little bit looking. He's looking at something else here, but not too bad. Pretty relaxed. Kind of hang out and let him see. He's a little worried there. I'd probably be okay with him targeting my foot on that other side, but you can see he's a little tense. He kind of moved his head quickly away, and then he kind of took a step like away from the fence. So those are important things to see and notice and make sure you're paying attention to. So see if he'll touch that. Yeah, there we go. And see, he's kind of taking that step again. He's a little worried. He might be just trying to get the treat too, but so ask him to come back. Yeah, because he's kind of leaning his head maybe to get the treat. So it is important to just kind of see, like, try and figure out what the motivation behind it is. Is he like a little tense and worried about what I'm doing, or is he just trying to get the treat? So this looks nice. I really like that. I probably I should have waited there for a second, because he had like a mouthful of food before I put my foot on and gave him more food. So I get really stuck, and I'm like, okay, this is really going well, and I'm gonna do this and this and this. And I've gotten better about it, but I need to just let him hang out, let him take a break, let him chew, and be relaxed. I feel like that would help just his training in general, so he's not doing so much all the time, but I'm also doing so much all the time, so that's something I need to work on. Oh, he had it there, and then he dropped his treat. But I liked how he went to go get that treat. It's nice and relaxed. His head was moving nicely. He's not swinging it around. He wasn't grabbing grabbing at it, so I like that. Try again. See if he can just there. Oh, he just keeps hitting them on my hand. There we go. He didn't get tense when he couldn't get it because he still had some food in his mouth there. So just be careful with that. Like if he's dropping it or like if it's falling on the ground, he might be getting a little tense. Like, oh gosh, I can't get to the food. So make sure he can get to it and remain successful with it, especially if that's something new. So as far as you being up on the fence or like mounting and stuff. Well, that looks pretty good too. And I always watch that dismount part because sometimes you getting off, you don't think about it and you're like, oh, you're done, and then that's scary to them. So do be aware that that's important for them too, to be used to. So he thinks he's still stuck on his front feet. So I'm just asking for backing up a little bit and do this other side. I'm just going to ignore that like foot lift. It's just not the behavior I want. That's okay. It's not a big deal. Go ahead and do a little bit more desensitizing with my foot. So I don't want excessive him offering me behaviors. I want to put cues on stuff pretty well. Pretty early so that he knows when those behaviors are acceptable, like when do I want them, so that's important. But because I don't want him doing all of them, I'm okay with this because I am working on the feet, and so he's just like, oh, want me to pick up my foot, and it's just the wrong foot, so it's not a big deal. So I'm asking, I wanted to just do some desensitizing with my foot on his shoulder. He's starting to move away here, so he definitely is a little bit more nervous with my foot touching him than just with my hands, so that's the next step. I need to work on that a little bit more. Let's see if he'll target my foot there. There we go. Nice. He's a little tense with that. He kind of moving his head fast. He's got his head and neck up, so just watching that. He looked pretty good with me touching his shoulder with my foot, so we are making some progress. But I want all that to be solid before I start deciding to get on him.